Hi everyone, Jim Rizzoli here. I thought I would direct your attention to a really good website that you're going to learn a lot from. And it's called We Thought They Were White.weebly.com. You can see it right there in the top. And it's written by this fellow named Dontel Jackson. And what this guy does, which is really excellent, is he shows that the slave trade, which most people today think was run by the white man, was actually run by Jews. And he proves it. He shows, what happened with the slave trade and how the major players in the slave trade were Jews. And I have to give him credit because he's definitely going to get a lot of, a lot of people upset with him because of that. And he just brings in and traces down from the beginning of time what happened with the Jews, and I'll just show you right here. Obviously, the Jews were in the area of Palestine or Israel today, and in the year 70 they were conquered by the Romans, and they were dispersed into Europe, and they ended up all throughout Europe, and they established themselves as slave traders and also as merchants, and they took control of all the distribution of goods throughout the whole world at that time. So they controlled a lot, and then eventually, this is 800 years after Christ, but eventually they worked their way into England. They worked their way into the United States, and this is where it really gets interesting because he actually traces it down to here with the Masons and how they came over here and established themselves. Pretty much the Masons were like a union. That's what they really were. They were like a union of men that had trades. And in order to really progress or, really make it up into the world financially, you really had to belong to the Masons because they actually helped each other out. And that's a good thing for them, but it's a bad thing for the other people that weren't Masons. So anyway, notice what it says here. It says right there, in order to further advance their agenda, the Jews would initiate certain wealthy, powerful, and influential Gentiles who they saw as useful to them and bring them into their fold and indoctrinated them with the globalist New World Order ideology, whose great work is the Jewish mandate, Tikkun Olam, rebuilding the world according to the Jews' own design. And then it mentions that George Washington and many other people became Masons themselves. And then in the 1700s now, the Jews really infiltrated, states like Rhode Island, where a lot of the slave trade was run out of, and the men that moved there, the Jews that moved there, ended up buying ships that went back and forth to certain parts of Africa, and then down into the, southern hemisphere. They ended up down there, and they traded with the people down there, and they just took over everything. I mean, this is basically what it is. So this article is an excellent article. I hope that you go look into it, because the black people in this country today really do not understand how much the Jews have sold them out. But the Jews are not stupid. They've actually brainwashed the blacks to think that the whites are the problem, because the Jews don't consider themselves white as we consider ourselves white. They're like a whole strange group of people. And the blacks, the privy blacks, they understand what's going on, but the majority of blacks don't understand that the Jews have done this. So they've been sold out. And of course, the majority of the Christian people have been sold out. Here's a very interesting.
Peace, peace and sanity be unto you. I'm Hassan Rashid. I welcome you to another episode of your Human Service News and Information. I'll be here with you for approximately 25 more minutes. It's excellent being here with you once again, and it's such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here daily at CCTV. Okay, I guess you're wondering about that opening video. Well, there's a video I found. It said it was all about Black history. Okay, so since this is the month of Black History Month, February 2017, I thought it appropriate to get some, start off a broadcast with a little Black history. That was Jim Rizzoli who was narrating that video, and he's up. He's from somewhere up around Medford, Massachusetts. If time permits, we're going to get back into this rare video, rare history on Black history. It's just a rare touch of Black history. Okay, it's something that's that they don't share in mainstream media. Okay. Black History Month. I got a few things here about local Black history, but first, I'm going to try to give you some insight into what's happening here in Massachusetts and where you can locate information for the Black History Month celebration in Massachusetts. Okay, first, if you're looking for information about events happening, Black history events where you can go and participate, take your family, your friends, your relatives, etc. to celebrate a Black History Month. Well, the first place to go and look is mass.gov. That's mass.gov. That's a government website. So you can visit the blog at mass.gov to find Black History Month events happening across Massachusetts. Our community honors this historic month in a variety of ways, from art exhibits to musical theater tours, historical sites, and more. And second, you can go to massvacation.com and click there for a comprehensive list of Black History Month events happening in Massachusetts, searchable by region. Events include walking tours, museum visits, and listing of important historical sites. Third, you can go to bostonguide.com. Okay, Boston has been called the birthplace of liberty and the cradle of freedom thanks to its significant role in the Revolutionary War. But these are also fitting monikers considered a city's place in African American history. Okay, as we celebrate Black History Month throughout February, be sure to visit these Boston area stops. Listing include the African American Historical Festival at the Factory Theater and Boston Black, a permanent exhibit at the Boston Children's Museum. So for further detail on these events, you can go once again to bostonguide.com, okay? And fourth, there's the bostonmagazine.com. Click there for the Boston Public Library, Black Is, Book List, Walk On, the story of Rosa Parks, presented by Mad River Theater Works, the African American Patriot Tour, and much more, much more. Fifth, it's readingrockets.org, readingrockets.org. So you click there to see a list of editors' favorite books for Black History Month. Anytime some describe different histories, while others show the joys of challenges that are shared by children of all colors as they learn and grow. Okay, there is, we missed that, the Hazard Brothers Leo Minister, okay? That was February 2nd. Okay, there's Black History Month, Royal House, Slave Quarters. It's a place that you could go and tour, but that tour is wait a minute. No, that's a day that came out. Okay, Black History Month, Royal House and Slave Quarters. That's in the 18th century. The historic museum was home to the largest slave holding family in Massachusetts, and the enslaved Africans who made their way of life possible. The slave quarters, the only such structure still remaining in northern United States, and the Royal House is a fine example of colonial area building in New England. Explores the museum through the video. Okay, so that's I guess you go conduct the Google search and you look for Black History Month, the Royal House Slave Quarters. That's it. That's Medford, Massachusetts. Okay, then there's the Robbins House, Concord. That's a famous Black historical site at 544 square feet. It's at 544 square feet. The historic early 19th century Robbins House is a small house full of little known history. The Robbins House shares the stories of the first generation of free Concord African Americans, revealing their pursuit of independence, contribution to the anti-slavery movement, and abolitionist cause. Open from June to October. This time of the year, consider downloading. Okay, that's that's a non-effect because it's not open. Closed in October. Okay, turn to Cambridge. Okay, the Cambridge celebrates Black History Month too. Okay, so there's an art exhibit by Kincaid in the mayor's office. That's right. That art exhibit will be in the mayor's office until February 28th. Okay, Cambridge-born artist Kincaid has been honing his signature pyrography, wood-burning style for over 20 years. The process begins with the taking a photo of a Boston landmark, then drawing the images freehand on a well sand surface, employing a keen sense of composition and attention to wood grain. So that's art exhibit by Kincaid, a local Cambridgian. They call him Cambridge. He's a local fellow, gentleman from this area, and his art exhibit will be offered there. Exhibit or exhibition. That'll be offered until the 28th of February. So be sure to check that out. Okay, an evening with Joe Gill and John Jennings. Okay, that's February 9th. That's tomorrow at the Cambridge Public Library Lecture Hall, 449 Broadway. That's an evening with Joe Gill and John Jennings. Okay, Joe Christian Gill is the chair of foundation of the New Hampshire Institute of Art and recipient of 2016 Boston University College of Fine Arts Alumni Awards. He is the author and illustrator of Strange Fuel, Volume 1, Uncelebrated Narratives from Black History and Bass Reeves. Okay, so that's an evening with Joe Gill and John Jennings. That's tomorrow, the 9th, 6:30 p.m. the Cambridge Public Library, Lecture Hall 449. Okay, Cambridge Public Library, Lecture Hall 449. So get in the way. The Journey of John Lewis is the first biographical film about Congressman John Lewis, a respected legislator and elder statesman who continues to practice nonviolence in his determined fight for justice. Okay, that's a film that they're offering about our current Congressman John Lewis. Okay, Cambridge Public Library, Lecture Hall 449, Wednesday, February 15th, 7 p.m. And meet the author, Bernice McFadden. That's Bernice McFadden. She's going to be at the Cambridge Public Library, Lecture Hall 449 Broadway, on February 23rd, 6 p.m. Bernice McFadden is the author of 9 critically acclaimed novels, including Sugar, Loving Donovan, Nowhere's a Place, The Warmest December, Gathering of Waters, and New York editor choice, one of the 100 notable books of 2012. Okay, so that's Miss Bernice McFadden, Thursday, the 23rd. At 6 p.m. Okay, there's another Black History Month. Okay, we're not finished with Cambridge yet. Okay, the Black History Month. Okay, this is another event. It's entitled. Joe Chris Gill, and John Jennings at the Cambridge Public Library. That's we just said that. Okay, that was just another flyer on it. Okay, and you can walk around Cambridge, and I'll give you some insight on where you can go visit as a tourist and visit some of the Cambridge historical spots in Cambridge, and it's known as the African American Historical Trails. So there are marker locations, marker titles, and neighborhoods. 32 Sacramento Street, you can find a marker by Maria Baldwin, and that's mid-Cambridge. 55 Essex Street, Charlotte Hawkins, she's a great historical figure, local historical figure, and she's located 55 Essex Street. Her marker or site or plaque, that's Cambridgeport. 1 Lilac Court, William Wells Brown, Cambridgeport. 2 Florence Place, Lewis and Milton Clark, Cambridgeport. 20 Flag Street, W.E. Du Bois, Cambridgeport, 49 Lincoln Street, John L. Fattal, Cambridgeport, 1430 Massachusetts Richard T. Greener, Old Cambridge Avenue. It's 1430 Massachusetts Avenue, Old Cambridge. 53 Colton Street, Pauline Hopkins, North Cambridge. 17 Story Street, Harry Jacobs, Old Cambridge. 44 Webster Street, Lunsford Lane, Cambridgeport. And that's Lunsford Lane, Cambridgeport. 226 Upland Road, William H. Lewis, North Cambridge. 137 Alston Street, Bishop George McGuire, Cambridgeport. 265 Prospect Street, Clement G. Morgan, Mid Cambridge. 30 Parker Street, Emery T. Morris, Old Cambridge. 10 Pleasant Street, Patrick H. Redmond, Cambridgeport. 28 Union Street, Albert V. Scott, Cambridgeport. 79 North Fork, Joseph Bowen Smith, Cambridge. 117 Dudley Street, Reverend P. Thomas Stanford, North Cambridge. 48 Maggie Street, McGee Street, Franklin H. Wright, Cambridgeport. And those are locations where you can go, and if you're interested in Black history, you can go and visit these sites and learn about the local Cambridge people. There's about 20 I just read, and Cambridge is rich in local Black history, I'll tell you that. Okay, there's a check out Women of Color, Leadership and Employment. That's a Thursday, June 5th. Now, this is quite a ways off, but you'll be hearing more about that. That's the Women of Color. They're having, I guess they're having empowerment conference. That's what they call it. So there'll be this conference will be right here in Cambridge at Harvard University. So stand by for more information on that, because June 5th is a long ways off. And one more thing now, I'd like to get this out to you. Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless Legislative Action Day. That's 2017. That's going to be at the State House in Boston. That's once again, that's Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless Legislative Action Day. That's going to be at February 27th at the State House. So this is less than 3 weeks to go. So we hope to see you all at the State House for the annual Legislative Action Day on Monday, February 27, 2016, in the Great Hall, second floor. The event will be hosted by State Representative Jim O'Day. The day will begin with check-in and light breakfast catered by Haley House Bakery Cafe starting at 9 a.m. with the speaking program 9:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Participants will fan out across the State House to meet the legislators and their staff. So don't you forget that. Write that down, or however you record this information. That's Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless Legislative Action Day, February 27, 2017 at the State House. That's the Massachusetts State House. Okay. Okay, I got I got so much more, but right now you notice I've been squinching and stuff. I broke my glasses, so I'm not myself today. So you gotta tolerate me for a little bit. Okay, have you seen the latest edition of Spur Change? It's good until February 16th. For Congressman John Lewis. Okay, John Lewis. And he's on the cover of it, so you don't want to miss this. If you see the various Spur Change vendors out there, and I advise you to help them out, and you'll be also helping yourself out in a good cause, and that's the cause of homelessness. So once again, John Lewis is on the cover of the latest edition of Spur Change. Be sure you get your copy, and that opening video, I don't know, I want to go back to it and share some more of that with you with the little time that we have left for broadcasting. But another thing I want to explain to you, that Representative, before we leave, Representative Margaret Decker, Margaret Decker, she's going to be at the Cambridge Senior Citizen. She's going to be conducting a town hall. Okay, that means that it's open to the public and come. And if you have anything on your mind that you'd like to share with your local Representative Margaret Decker, she'll be at the Senior Citizen, Citywide Senior Citizen tonight at 5:30 to about 7 at night. And they're located right across from the City Hall. That's 8. How you doing? That's 8. No, that's 820. That's That's about 809 Massachusetts Avenue, right across from City Hall. And Representative Marjorie Decker is going to be on hand for all of you out there. So you come on out and get out there and talk to Representative Decker. She'll be glad you did, and she'll be waiting for you too. Okay, I had another video I wanted to share with you, but I don't believe I'll be able to do it. So I think I'm going to just go and continue with the one that we're listening to, which is a rare video, and it was compiled by Jim Rosoli of Medford, Mass, and his take on Black history, some rare information that's little known about Black history. So we're going to try to get back to that. But if I don't get back to you, I always like to remind you that you should always keep your nose clean, play it straight, so you can be successful. And don't forget to assist someone in need of your help. So until next time, I'm Hassan Rashid, and this is your Human Service News and Information. It was enjoyable once again being here with you. And until next time, I leave you with the international cordial of peace and sanity, and that is peace. Okay, all right.
Point right here, I'm going to show you right here. This is really good. Aaron Lopez now, he moved to Rhode Island, and he was a Jew, and he took control of the slave trade there, and also other things too. He was involved in other shipping and all these things, of all sorts of stuff. But he actually, right here, I'm going to show you right here, it says he brought back, notice right here, in 1763, he was bringing back a cargo of Africans who were sold as slaves to a fellow Jew, Isaac DeCosta, in South Carolina. 4 captains made 13 of the voyages to Africa, bringing back some 1,275 black slaves. And so this was a real big thing during the middle 1700s. And again, who controlled the slave trade? The Jews. Aaron Lopez, in this case, he amassed a great fortune, as it says here, with the slave trade, candle making, distilling rum, producing chocolate, blah, 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 blah. But he was one of the, right here, notice here, by the early 1700s, Lopez had become the wealthiest person in Newport, and his tax assessment was twice that of any other resident, and he was a Jew. And then it gets into other Jews who are involved with great wealth, or getting great wealth because of their involvement with the mercantile trades and all these type of things. So there you go. I'm just kind of briefly getting into this article for you. It goes on. It's quite lengthy. It's going to take you a little bit to read it, but it's definitely worth reading.
Historical Research Study Department from the scholarship of Jewish historians, scholars, and rabbis, volume number 2 of The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. It goes on sale tonight. And in it, you will discover the architecture and the architect. You will read things that you never knew before, things that you thought you understood. But our research team has discovered and uncovered what has been hidden in books that you would never read. But we have read it.
Yes, sir. Yes, we have. Come on, Minister.
And now the scholarship is available. Last night, I sent this book and another one that's printed called Negroes at Auction. I sent it to Mr. Abraham Foxman of B'nai B'rith, to all the leaders of the major Jewish organizations. I sent it to President Obama, to Rahm Emanuel, to David Axelrod, to Timothy Geithner, to Larry Summers, to Ben Bernanke, to all the people that